I'll say this. I am not in on Ole Miss this year. I feel like
Hey,
I feel like they're
let's
everybody's darling
go.
right now. I'm
Oh,
just
they
not
are.
there right now. Yeah, everybody loves them. Here's the thing. Pete Golding was able to catch lightning in a bottle because he only had to actually coach for 2 games,
Two
3 games.
games. Two
Yeah,
games because Tulane doesn't count.
yeah, that's fair. So, and I mean, you know how I feel about Pete Golding. Was not a fan while he was at Alabama. I don't think that he's going to be able to kind of get them back to the heights that Lane Kiffin had them. And I'll tell you this: we're going to do some sneaky games later. The game after the emotional roller coaster that they're going to be on,
Yep.
which is
I,
against
I
LSU.
think I think me and you are thinking very similar here, Mason. I think
Week
we're
after
I think we're
that.
on the same brain waves right now.
Week after that, they have to come off that emotional roller coaster and then take a
Yep.
take a trip down to Gainesville. I'm not feeling that one.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who
Yeah.
else they played after that, but I think they got Texas and maybe Georgia too, don't they? I'll pull it up.
They do play Georgia, I think, again this season. I'm not sure if they play them at home or not. I don't know if they play Texas. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
They might.
they got Texas on the road, Georgia at home, and then Oklahoma on the road as well.
I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about Pete Golding. I don't like. Yeah, to say that he caught lightning in a bottle is one way to put it, but I mean, another way we could frame it is like, oh, well, that was just a sneak peek into the beginning of the Pete Golding era at Ole Miss. Like, who freaking knows what's going to happen after the roller coaster ride that we went on with this team last year, and now, I mean, the biggest returns are obviously Trinidad Chambliss and Kyron Lacey. Like, those are the guys that you're going to lean on when it comes to this Ole Miss squad. Everybody knows it. But and then I think they have, is it Deuce Alexander, the wide receiver, or it might be somebody else. But my biggest question is definitely with Pete Golding though, with Ole Miss, because I think Ole Miss could potentially, I don't know if they win the SEC, but they're in the conversation going into the season as to who's gonna potentially make that run to get to the SEC title game. Now, the teams you just rattled off, like LSU, Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma, and then we'll get into more of like the sneaky one that's going to come up after that LSU game, which I think if you're listening to this podcast and you've seen the schedule, you know exactly where we're going to go with it. But yeah, I don't know exactly how to feel about Ole Miss in terms of going into this year, first year under Pete Golding. You don't have Charlie Weiss Jr. anymore. You don't have Lane Kiffin's magical offense anymore. So I don't know. But to be fair, that Pete Golding defense is still there, which they were really good last year too. That defense was pretty decent at times. At times, the Georgia games obviously were a wreck, but I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. As long as Trinidad Chambliss and Kyron Lacey are there, I believe in this team. Those two sell me on Ole Miss. Pete Golding has no factor in this at all for me. It's simply those two guys where I'm like, if they go off this year, this team can make a run again. That's just where I'm sitting with it.
So let me read their full schedule for everybody. They open up neutral site, and nobody's been talking about this game. Neutral
Sneaky.
site against Louisville. Super sneaky.
Sneaky.
Okay. On ABC.
Jeff Brom, man.
Okay. Neutral site against Louisville. Yeah, Jeff Brom, Louisville, they're no joke. They
We almost
listen,
hired him.
He's got
Almost hired him. We talked about it.
he's a really good coach. He did really well at Western Kentucky, really good at Purdue, and now he's doing pretty well at Louisville. Sneaky game to start off the real era there for Pete Golding. Then after that, they get their layup against Charlotte. And then the game that everybody has circled against LSU, okay? And then they go at Florida, okay? Which, death trap of all death traps, okay? And then they have their bye. They have a
is the biggest
super,
trap in
here's the
the
key. They have a super early bye week. They have a bye week 5 weeks into the season, and then they're going. You play at Vandy, which in the past is like, oh, easy win. Who knows what it's going to look like with this 5-star quarterback? I don't think anybody really knows. But they're going to be super disciplined, and their defense is going to be super disciplined and want to get after you. So who knows? It's not going to be an easy game. And then you play Missouri, which again is not going to be an easy game with the nerd over there as the coach for Eli Drinkwitz, which I love him, by the way. He's great.
The visor, man.
And then you
There's
get this stretch, man. This stretch is what's going to make or break their season. Okay? At Texas, Auburn at home, Georgia at home, at Oklahoma. I mean, like, Auburn has a new coach. Who knows what Alex Golich is going to be like? They're going to want to, knowing the South Florida teams, they're going to scratch and claw and throw rocks and do whatever they got to do to get out of there. It ain't going to be fun, especially if it's right after at Texas and right before Georgia sandwiched in, okay? And then after Georgia, you got to go to Oklahoma, which I think has a real case to maybe win the SEC this year, okay? And then you get your layup against Wofford, and then it's the Egg Bowl, and who knows what's going to happen in the Egg Bowl. I mean,
yeah,
everybody's hyping them up like this is the time to talk about Ole Miss, because you ain't going to be talking about them at the end of the season. I can guarantee you. They will not run through this thing and be a playoff team. They won't be. Their schedule's too hard. And, Breston, you're talking about their defense. Their defense was a sieve last year.
What if they get through this schedule and let's say they finish the season 9-3? Okay, your losses, like let's say LSU, it's in Death Valley, or it's not in Death Valley, it's at Ole Miss. But let's say you lose to LSU, you manage to get the win over Florida that next week, like you avoid the trap game, you get an upset here or there. You know, let's say Georgia at home because they've done it before, and then. Let's say
you gotta lose to Texas,
they get
Oklahoma.
upset.
So you're saying
you get an upset over Oklahoma, maybe. So, or if you lose to, like, it depends on who they lose to. Obviously, like if they lose to LSU, Texas, and Oklahoma, but they beat Georgia, they beat Florida on the road. Which, in my case, I don't know what Florida's going to look like at the end of the year. That could be a big game that nobody's talking about, right? When you get to the end of the season, and maybe Florida's gone through their schedule and they end the season 8-4, 9-3. It's like, okay, well, that was a tougher team than most people expected. But yeah, like, are we talking about this Ole Miss team later on in the year if they're 9-3 coming out of a SEC that is going to be like every team unless Texas just runs the gauntlet and comes out of this thing undefeated or with one loss, every team's going to have at least 2 losses. Like, I don't see a world where in a 9-game SEC schedule, any team is coming out of this unscathed. Like, it's just going to be hard to sell with me. So, like, is the potential there for a 9-3 Ole Miss team to make it in? I don't know, maybe.